Ladies and gentlemen, I never thought I'd be talking about. What am I talking about? I do stories from pretty much everywhere, so of course I figured at some point Oklahoma City would deliver a story to me that I'd have to present on this channel. And indeed, we're going to talk about this crazy individual that y'all see on my screen right there with that. I don't know, man. He just has that desperate look in his eyes, but he's done something to this woman that you just should not do, and I don't know why. I have my suspicions, but let me tell y'all the story, okay? Now, disturbing new details have emerged about a deadly crime spree in Oklahoma City that began with the murder of a pregnant woman. And I repeat, the woman that was murdered was pregnant. That lady right there. And what's even crazier about this story is I believe I've met her. I'm almost positive that I've met this young lady before. And she's a real nice person. I didn't know her on a super personal level, but like I say, the times when I met her, she just seemed to be a nice person. Okay? She was pregnant and he murdered her and the abduction of her baby, and ended with a police shootout that left the suspect dead and an officer injured. So this ended up turning into a shootout, if y'all didn't know. So I don't know how many of you guys this has reached y'all news timeline, but I'm going to tell y'all a little bit more about this story, okay? All right. Now, the individual that shot this woman and murdered this woman is right here. This idiot's name is Brandon Milburn. He's 37 years old. He's the same age as me. And he was previously named by an Oklahoma City Police Department as a suspect in the killing of his girlfriend. Her name is Shatika Hickson. Let's back up to her photo. That is Shatika Hickson. She's 23 years old. There's a little bit of a gap in their age. One is 37, she's 23. I don't really have a problem with that, because normally when you talk to an older guy as a woman, you should be talking to somebody who kind of has their shit together, right? When it comes to a job, when it comes to a place to live, when it comes to your career, what it is that you want to do in life. Maybe you already have kids, so you've had some practice, so to say, with being a father, dealing with emotions. You should have gone through some things in life that should prepare you to be able to deal with a woman who's kind of in her prime years, so to say. Shatika Henson was 23 years old, and the kidnapping of their 14-month-old daughter by the name of Zyla, and this was on Tuesday. Now, Milburn was also suspected of killing a motorist and carjacking 2 vehicles as he fled from the police. Isn't that something? And I'm going to tell you guys this. For people who have never gotten their gun training, did not get a gun license, I'm warning you guys, it's probably the smartest thing in the world to do is go get you a weapon, get you some training. It doesn't cost that much. Get you a license to carry, concealed and open. Go get your training and keep your weapon with you. It's a very, very important thing to do because you need to be able to defend yourself and your family. But we'll talk about that later. Now, local authorities officially confirmed on Thursday that the officer-involved shooting that occurred early Wednesday morning in downtown Oklahoma City was related to Milburn's alleged crime spree. We're going to talk about these screenshots here in a minute, all right? Now, let's keep going. The incident began unfolding just after noon on Tuesday when police received a 911 call about a body that was discovered inside a home in the 5100 block of Brookdale Drive. Officers who responded to the scene found a woman identified by police and family members as Shatika Hickson, who had been shot during a domestic fight earlier that morning, and learned that her baby had been taken from the home, purportedly by the child's father, Milburn. I want y'all to keep in mind, look at these screenshots. We'll come back to them here in a moment. Relatives told KFOR News that Hickson was currently 3 months pregnant with her and Milburn's second child at the time of her death. Now, according to the victim's family, Hickson was a victim of prior domestic abuse. Let's rewind. I'm going to say that again and I'm going to read it again. According to the victim's family, hashtag not my words, Hickson was a victim of prior domestic abuse. Bookmark that. We'll come back to it. He beat her up all the time. He gashed her head open and threw her downstairs. The woman's family member by the name of Chantel Nye said, referring to Milburn. Are y'all starting to catch my drift about hashtag when you date thugs, you date death? And y'all might not look at his face and think he was a thug, but he was a thug. He was a dangerous individual. This young lady made the grave mistake that a lot of women make, and they think that this stuff is cute when these men are violent because they think that they'll protect them, but they end up being victims of the circumstance that they think is going to be perpetrated on somebody talking that yin-yang to them. Somebody up in their face, your man going to be able to handle it because his gravitas or his acting a fool is going to be able to, I guess, alleviate them of the threat. It's a lot of big words I just used there, but I think I used them correctly. Her own family members said that she was beat up all the time. Hashtag all the time. He gashed her head open and threw her downstairs. I want y'all to keep in mind that they already had one kid together. He was already abusive. You turn around and lay down with this man again and produce another baby with that man that is abusive, that is 37 years old, that looks really weird in the face. Like in the face right there in that photo, that dude looked like he could be her grandfather, like he's like 57 years old instead of 37. Does he not look like he's 37 or 57 in the face? We have another hashtag besides hashtag when you date thugs, you date death. Hashtag live by the thug, die by the thug. The reason we use these hashtags, and I know it's harmful and hurtful for the family to hear that, but it's a real thing because what we have to start doing is teaching our young ladies to make better choices because you're not just living for yourself. Huh? You are not just living your life for yourself, especially when you talk about producing kids. Hello? When you involve kids, then it's a whole nother situation. If you want to just remain to be kidless and date somebody who got this look on their face, that's what you like, then I feel like you do that when you don't have kids. Therefore, if you end up in a situation like that, then you got to figure it out, and you shouldn't leave your kids to be at the hands and mercy of somebody like this. Hopefully y'all understand where I'm coming from. Now let's move on. That dude's brother, let me see if I can get the brother's face back up here just for a moment, because I want y'all to hear what he had to say, because I want to try to be fair. This is his brother, Vincent Milburn. This is the individual who was beating her up. This is his brother, and he painted a very different picture of Milburn and Hickson's relationship. He said, every time I saw them, let me keep his photo up here just for a moment. He said, every time I saw them, they were pretty happy. After allegedly killing his pregnant girlfriend, Milburn went on the run with their baby daughter in tow, which triggered an Amber Alert. Nearly 4 hours later, the missing girl was found safe after being dropped off at the Love County Jail by Milburn's aunt. So he had time to drop by another family member's house. Bookmark that in your brain for a moment. She saw the Amber Alert and realized that the Amber Alert was the baby that she had in the vehicle. While police were scouring the area for Zyla, another killing was reported in the 24,000 block of Southwest 95th Street, just 7 miles from Hickson's home, where a man identified as 34-year-old Stephen Christopher Husky was found shot and dead inside a white pickup truck. Let me see if I can get that victim's face up here so you guys can see who he was. Dang, that's a small picture of him, though. Let me see if I have a picture of him. This guy was robbed and shot of his truck. That's Stephen Christopher Husky, who was 34 years old. And that's just messed up. He was just an innocent person in this thing, had no idea, and he ended up losing his life because this idiot wanted to steal his damn truck. It's just, you know, it just ain't, it's just not worth taking somebody's life. But anyway, according to police, Milburn has stolen the pickup truck owned by a local business from the local area of Southwest 119th Street and May Avenue, which I'm familiar with the South Side, so I'm familiar with that side of town. The truck was equipped with a GPS tracking device, which Husky, who worked for the company that owned the truck, owned the vehicle, they used that to track the vehicle. Sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied. They found the vehicle parked and unoccupied in the 25,000 block of Southwest 95th and drove up on it. At that moment, police said that Milburn appeared from behind a tree and opened fire at Husky, killing him. According to investigators, the gunman then drove to Southwest 104th Street, where he abandoned the stolen vehicle and carjacked a gold Toyota Avalon vehicle that was being operated by a 17-year-old boy. That's got to be really scary. Real scary. According to investigators, the gunman drove to the Southwest 104th Street, where he abandoned the stolen pickup truck and carjacked a 17-year-old's car, which was a gold Toyota Avalon. Then he ditched that vehicle in the area of Southwest 122nd Street in May. I'm not real familiar with 122nd and May. I'm familiar with the north side, but on the south side, I'm not exactly sure where that puts them at. But anyway, authorities spent 5 hours searching for Milburn with K-9 units and a helicopter before suspending the operation for the night. Now, shortly just before 10 p.m., Milburn called his brother for the last time. There was fear in his voice and remorse and regret and shame. He wanted to turn himself in. We had talked about it, Vincent Milburn said, adding that his brother was not a monster. Want y'all to keep in mind, those are two different damn stories. One side of the family is said that this woman has been beat up all the time. He gashed her head, threw her downstairs, and was extremely abusive to this woman. And the other person is saying, no, apparently that never happened. Because if it did happen even one time, then it does make him a monster, sir. So to his brother, as much as he don't like that, if he even did it one time, how many of y'all agree with what I'm saying? If he beat this woman one time, if he hit this woman one time, if he threw her down the stairs one time, if he was physical with this woman at any point, at any time, then it makes him a monster. Straight up and down. So there's no getting around that. So if you defend him behind him even doing it one time, then it makes me question your whole freaking MO for coming out and trying to say, oh no, he's not like that. Because it sounds like he is. He was kicking this woman's ass. He turned around and shot an innocent man, stole his truck, then jacked another car, which put in danger a 17-year-old kid, and he stole his own, basically, I guess, kidnapped his baby, and shot the mother of his kid that was pregnant with that woman, or pregnant with a baby. To me, that's too much stuff going on for you to turn around and try to wipe this man's slate clean. He sounds like a freaking animal, okay? Now, just after 4 a.m. on Wednesday, Oklahoma City police officers were involved in a pursuit of a vehicle near Southwest 104th Street in May. I actually used to live on 104th and Western back in the day. Milburn, now driving a silver Toyota Prius with Arizona license plates, led officers on a chase which ended near Couch Drive and Lee Avenue in downtown Oklahoma City. Milburn exchanged gunfire with the police, and a spokesperson for the Oklahoma City Police Department told the news that the armed suspect fired first at officers, and I can believe that. Milburn was shot dead, and officers, Oklahoma City Police Officer Zach Barbie suffered 9 life-threatening injuries after being shot in the chest, which were protected by his bulletproof vest. And if y'all saw the picture, if y'all did not see the picture of that car, and all of those, they have those little markers where they mark where all the bullets are. It was a ton of bullets out there, man, which is crazy. But let me give you guys the fair usage, and let me let you listen to federal law allows citizens. Let me let y'all listen to the news videos. To reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. All right, let's get it. Oh. I guess I need to keep myself on the screen. There we go. All right.
Early in the morning, I received news that there had been a conflict.
Vincent Milburn talking about a call he got from his mother, saying his brother Brandon and his brother's girlfriend and mother of his 1-year-old daughter, Shatika Hickson, had gotten into a fight, and there was blood involved.
So I know it didn't go down well. They both weren't in their right minds.
Milburn says his brother and girlfriend seemed happy, but friends and family of T. Hickson paint a very different picture.
He beat her up all the time. Heard from her aunt that I'm close to that they got in a big fight like a week before, and she didn't know if she wanted to go back with him or not, and he talked her into it, and then this happened.
Now y'all hear that? Those are two totally separate stories. And to be honest, like I said, I tend to believe people when they say that she got beat up all the time, because I think that means it at least happened once. And I just tend to believe them. But let's keep going.
As the chaos and crime unfolded, Vincent says his brother called him around 10 p.m. Tuesday night.
There was fear in his voice. There was remorse and regret and shame. He wanted to turn himself in. We had talked about it.
Vincent received the news Wednesday morning that his brother had been killed and an officer wounded in a shootout downtown.
Devastated, just really hurt. My brother's not a monster. He's just a man trying to support have a family, support his family. And
friends.
Really, bro? He's not a monster, really? Come on, man. Come on. Yes, he is. For what he did to that woman and her baby and her pregnant baby, and what he did to that innocent man, and him shooting at the police officers and carjacking a 17-year-old kid, he's not a monster. He's not a monster. Are you kidding me?
Hickson grieving, pointing out her recent social media post that she was pregnant.
She liked to laugh and dance, and she was a really good mom. But that maybe her family and friends can have a little bit of peace now, knowing that he's not out there gonna hurt someone else.
Well, both Vincent and Chantel tell me that Brandon Milburn struggled with substance abuse.
Hopefully we're going to be able to find this little girl.
It all started Tuesday morning. Police say Brandon Milburn and his girlfriend, Shatika Hickson, got in a fight. Milburn shot and killed her, taking off with their 14-month-old baby. The homeowner found the body and called police around noon. An Amber Alert went out for the baby. She had been dropped off with a family member. The toddler was eventually handed off to authorities near the Oklahoma-Texas state line.
They were driving south, I believe, to Texas, because there's family members in Texas that were willing to care for the child.
Back up about an hour and a half before police responded to the murder. Milburn stole a pickup from a business around 10:40 a.m. An employee found it using a GPS tracking device.
When the employee approached the vehicle, this white pickup truck, Brandon appeared from behind the trees and opened fire on the employee.
The employee has been identified as Stephen Husky. Police say he drove down the street after he was shot, and he crashed into a tree and died from his injuries. Police say Milburn left that scene in the stolen truck and carjacked a teenager.
The officers never rested. they knew that he was a problem and extremely dangerous.
Officers got a tip that said he was driving a Prius.
I believe the license plate that was eventually on it was different than the one in the Amber Alert, which leads me to believe that he did change the license plate.
All of this would come to an end early Wednesday morning around 4 a.m. Police saw that Prius and tried to stop it. A chase followed. Milburn shot at officers and they shot back.
It was a significant...
I don't know if y'all can see that really clearly, but they shot the hell out of that car.
exchange of gunpowder.
An officer...
Look at that. This is what I wanted y'all to see. All of those shell casings. So all of those little yellow things right there, those are all the shell casing markings right there. Like I said, I know the video isn't super big, but I think even with a little bit of clarity, you guys ought to be able to see all of those little yellow things on the ground right there.
Sir was saved by his bulletproof vest.
His ballistic vest stopped the bullet from causing significant serious injury.
And Milburn shot and killed. Back in the neighborhood where this all started, no sign of the owner of the home where all this started. Neighbors saying nobody has been seen since Tuesday. And now grief for family members like Hickson's mother.
She had such a beautiful smile, and she was always trying to make somebody laugh and just to be happy. She was just wanted to be a mother and keep her little family together.
And police say Hickson was 9 weeks pregnant. It'll be up to the medical examiner's office to decide if that's also considered a homicide. Reporting live in Southeast Oklahoma City, Angela Shen, Oklahoma.
I'm going to say this because I understand caring about your family and your family members, but what I don't understand is how you can validate the fact that the brother is taken up for his older brother. Clearly that was his older brother. And you mean to tell me you're just going to forget about the fact that if that's your brother, then that means those kids would be your nieces and nephews. So you mean to tell me you care more? And I want y'all to remember, because I say this all the time. Put the kids first. Put the kids first. You cared more about your brother than you did your nieces and nephews. Please understand that. He didn't say anything about the kids. The one that she was pregnant with, clearly she lost it. And then the one that ended up missing, that they ended up finding. The brother didn't mention anything about those kids. I want y'all to take note of that, and it's easy for you guys to catch that when people get to talking, when they're in the comment section, when they're posting things, and you realize, oh, they didn't say anything about the kids at all. They made no mention of the kids. And the reason that I continue to talk about the kids is because I realize that we don't care about the kids as much, and we don't put a focus on the kids, and nobody really is out there advocating for the kids first. What he did to that woman was he beat her the hell up because he felt like he wanted to control her. He was probably insecure. He's a funny looking dude. And the fact that he took advantage of that girl, you know, being kind of young and hoping that this man would maybe kind of take her under his wing and so that they could produce this awesome family. And the fact that that didn't happen, and he felt the need to be able to get a message through to this woman was to beat her up. She didn't deserve that, and nor did those kids deserve that. And I hope that her baby rests in peace. I hope her soul rests in peace. Hope the family can find some ease and comfort at some point. To this individual, I hope that he rests in peace as well, because that's wrong. This man was out there working on a job and got carjacked because this other dude sitting there trying to get away and run away from his responsibility to be held responsible for what he did to his own family, and ended up taking this individual, if I can get his face back up there for a moment, ended up taking, I can't get his face up there right now, but ended up taking that other individual's life for no reason. So I hope that those souls rest in peace. And this dude right here, for everything that he did, especially to those babies, then you guys know he didn't need jail time. The police gave him hell time. They sent his ass straight to hell, and that's where he needs to go. And if anybody doesn't support my message on that, I don't know what to tell you. But that's why we're the AFC. Well, we don't believe in having babies for benefits. We believe that babies' lives matter, and they should matter first. From my heart to yours, I love you guys and thank y'all for listening to this story. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the AFC.